Welcome, welcome, welcome to the third annual AuthorTube Writing Conference. I'm Kathleen Sweeney with BookBrush, and I am super excited to welcome you with a keynote speech here today. We have a full, fabulous weekend scheduled with lots of great sessions. So this session in particular is pre-recorded so we can deliver the best possible scenario. Tech can be crazy. So I'm going to talk to you today about authorpreneurship. Let's kick things off. So venturing out from the standard author role. Over the years at BookBrush, I've had the pleasure of working with countless authors. We hit 100,000 authors last year. And so across all genres, all walks of life, and this truly is a dream come true for me. So I am the COO over here at BookBrush. And ever since I won the classroom reading contest in first grade, I have been so excited to be around reading, around books. So working with authors every single day is fabulous for me. I have learned so many things from authors and have just so many interesting things. So who knew that pets in space were a surprising niche? I have a favorite author who is currently partnering with us for her third set of series of custom book covers. And I feel like they're almost my book babies. I know. I didn't write them, but I am so vested in all the parts of the process. So today I want to talk a little bit more about pouring your heart and soul into writing a book. And guess what? It is gathering dust on shelves, or maybe virtual shelves these days. And that is, unfortunately, the harsh reality for a lot of authors. I talk to people every day in this scenario. The question that keeps popping up is, help! I don't know how to make money off my books. How do I sell my books? I wrote the books. I need to sell the books. And so turning passion into profit is really a common hurdle for a lot of authors. A lot of authors feel conflicted about monetizing their work. They say things in a newsletter like, or to friends, well, I wrote a book. You probably wouldn't want to read it, but I do have a new book. No, those people need your book. People need your book. Somebody needs it to get through their cancer treatment. Some stay-at-home mom needs it for a relief at night. There are people who need your book. You have to believe that. So this path is hard for some people to think it's important that your book is written for somebody, but you need to embrace that. And the reality is there are bills to be paid too. So the challenge that a lot of folks face today is breaking out from the traditional model of just selling books. It's a digital world. Creating isn't enough. Understanding the business of books and people is crucial. So according to our trusty friend, Google, I'm a big Googler, entrepreneurship is the journey of individuals carving out their own original path to create and build a new business. So spin that into the author world, and we're talking about authorpreneurship. It's all about innovation, risk-taking, and creativity. The competition in the publishing world is fierce. There's all sorts of people putting books out every single day. For authors, this journey may involve exploring lots of different avenues. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. Traditional publishing to self-publishing, selling merch, swag, or even your expertise. You could sell your expertise and leveraging those digital platforms that are out there. Because what is the end goal? Finding the balance that's going to allow you to honor your artistic vision. You wrote the book and still ensure that your practical needs are met. You're selling books. So for the best chance for success, start thinking like an entrepreneur, or in this case, an authorpreneur. So you're going to ask me, well, Kathleen, how do I do this? Today, let's talk about taking a proactive and consistent step in the right direction and add some pizzazz and call this our 3Ds. This is inspired by David Kuppenreiter's appreciative inquiry process. So 3Ds. D number 1, dream. This is your brainstorming moment. Explore other aspects of your book that can be marketed. So you have the book, but what else? Does your story align with a specific niche? Identify your niche. Help target the right audience who's actively seeking similar stories. Next, are there any striking details with your character? Do you have a cat that likes coffee? I became a crazy cat lady during COVID. I have arguably the two most handsome cats on the planet. They do not drink coffee, but they do other cute things. Maybe your story has a wizard who loves baking. Any interesting thing that are striking details, those can be something to focus on. Are there objects that hold significance and keep reappearing throughout the book? Maybe the artist's guitar, a magical sword, some kind of cursed object, a bad penny that keeps turning up, objects that you can possibly sell. And lastly, are there any lessons gained from your book that would resonate with readers? So there's a lot of themes that can cater to specific audiences, like the coming of age struggles, grief from losing a loved one, the fight for justice, and themes that people can relate to. D number 2, so we're doing 3 Ds, design. Setting up a plan allows you to be prepared for risks and pitfalls. Planning the right way increases your likelihood of success. And I am a planner. I know we have a lot of pantsers out here too, but here today we're going to talk about planning. Do your market research. So your product, your book should be tailored to your target audience. Is this for a YA audience? Is this for older women's fiction writers, readers, those kinds of things? Try to narrow down your target audience. Who is your current demographic? What are their interests? People that like quilting, want to read quilt books, Cold War thriller lovers. Those certain target market groups are more likely to purchase your book or the swag and merch and things like that. Assess the competitive landscape. Are there other authors doing the same thing? What else can you bring to the table? And how can you mirror some of the things that they're doing as well? Determine the required resources. How much time and money do you need? Do those things fit your lifestyle? Think about how that's going to fit in. And then think about the drawbacks. With those things in mind, identify your plan of action. So you're going to craft your strategy for marketing, sales, and operations. Think about your necessary steps to achieve your goals. How can you work on potential weaknesses and avoid pitfalls? And of course, try again. Be open to try again. Thinking through your plan, you can anticipate potential problems, but if the whole thing seems riddled, what a tongue twister, riddled with red flags, don't be afraid to chuck the whole thing, try again, make a new plan, or revisit it at a later time. Sometimes it's easier to just go back to the drawing board than to correct something that you already invested too much time in and your resources. But through it all, there's always going to be risks involved. So your goal is to take the calculated, meaningful risks and evaluate your potential benefits. And as long as they outweigh the potential drawbacks, that can be a good fit. And the third D, deliver. Now it's your time to shine. It's your plan in action. So start by getting your plans out there, stay on track with your main objective, be consistent, but also don't be afraid to adapt. When you open yourself to entrepreneurship and authorpreneurship, you're also opening yourself up here to the possibility of failure. Win or lose, though, I have to tell this to my kids all the time too. Win or lose, every lesson still gets you one step closer to your goal. You've learned valuable information that you can apply to the future too. So here's where it gets really fun, or at least I think this is the fun part. Break out from relying solely on your book sales and diversify income streams through other cool things, like, for example, sell merchandise. This does sound basic, to be honest, but you can create stickers, bookmarks, keychains, book plates, mugs, other swag items with designs related to your book and your characters, and people will buy those things. So some examples. Do you have a fantasy world with magic? Create a series of collectible trading cards that feature the magical creatures or characters or objects from your book. Did you write a thriller book with a detective element? You can sell a puzzle game where fans can use clues and riddles to crack the code like an insider or find out exclusive material. Is there a band in your book, like a musical band, that readers love? Have a logo designed for the band and then sell keychains and merch and things for the band. I really love thinking outside of the box on this particular topic. So I'm going to keep going off the deep end here. So think about a business in your book. Does your book have any kind of establishment that is a major part of the story. Maybe it's a cozy cafe. Do you have a bed and breakfast? Do people go there, or is it part of the setting? What about a flower shop? Maybe a local watering hole, park, city park, local park, boating area. So I could go crazy. All of these things could be touristy in real life. When you go to one of these things, what do you usually buy? Those kind of things you could make as merch. So t-shirts, coasters, bookmarks, maybe magnets, all those little things that people sell in real life at a different business could be things that you could get a logo made, like we talked about the band. Have this logo for the place in your book, your cafe. Maybe there's a couple recipes that they're famous for. Make recipe cards. That might be cool too. But any of those things you can have branded and have your bed and breakfast. People might really want to have their own coffee in the morning in a coffee cup with the logo from the bed and breakfast or the cozy cafe that is in your book. So lots and lots of fun things to think about when you're going down the path of merchandise. Maybe you could even sell t-shirts. And no, you don't have to do this all on your own. You can pay people to design those things, partner with something like BookBrush, for example, has an hourly concepts platform that can design those things for you. Lots of different things out there where you can have the merchandise produced. We've had good luck with sending things to Vistaprint, Sticker Mule, 4imprint. It's like a number 4, and then imprint, and lots more out there. So explore the merchandise side of things. Second idea, utilize crowdfunding. So this is the reason why we always say that as authors, you have to build your community, because then the community can be there to support you. So when you build a strong relationship with readers, that can not just lead to increased book sales, which it can do, but can also help you gather support for your future projects. So when you're publishing a book or doing a project, as you know, we're all in this together, expenses quickly add up and escalate. But with crowdfunding platforms like, for example, Kickstarter or Indiegogo, authors have the capability then to fund the projects without spending out-of-pocket money. So, there's other platforms, Patreon, Ko-fi, where readers can pay a subscription fee, Ream, those kinds of things, or donate to support you. So keep your subscribers engaged, offering perks and extras, like pay $10 and I'll name a character for you. Pay $30 and I'll send you one of my short stories. So lots of things you can do to encourage readers to subscribe because they're going to receive something in return. Another option here is to sell services. So I know some people don't like doing this kind of thing, but think about how to monetize your knowledge and your experience. So when you write, you don't just write whatever's on your mind and call it a day. Nobody really seems to do that. There's so much more into it. So you've done extensive research to perfect your character, your setting, all the things that happened, the events. You spent countless hours to get those right words, and you've dissected a lot of small things to get into your story's core, and that makes you an expert on things. Just a few examples. Did you research underwater exploration techniques? Do you know detailed methods and the equipment they use for underwater exploration? People might want to hear about that. How about lots about plants? Do you have some really extensive and beautiful gardens in your books, or you have gardeners in your books, and you know a lot about the practices and uses of placing those plants so that they look really nice? That might be something to talk about. How about depictions of space travel? I do not know anything about space travel, but you may have done a ton of research and be able to talk about space travel, even in different eras. How was space travel viewed during the Cold War? Maybe other types of years. Something to think about. How about veterinary practices? Do you know a lot about horses and how they are taken care of? All the different types of horses. Are you an expert on lots of different historical Christmas things? People might be interested in the Christmas practices from around the world over time, and you may have researched those. I can go on and on. What about fashion? Did you research a lot about the clothing in a certain area? There may be groups who'd be interested in you giving a presentation, because remember, you're the expert on the fashion from whatever era and how that came to be and influenced the fashion trends in different countries and things like that. We could talk about music. Are you an expert in different types of music, how it's written, how it's performed, all those things? So lots of things that you may be an expert on. Don't forget recipes that you did when you were researching. Think about it. You're the expert. You can do speaking engagements. This is interesting. If you think about finding your audience and tailoring your content to them, that can be a speaking engagement. So, for example, if your book targets children or teens or educational organizations, those are places that you can pitch your work. For example, when we had our BookMarcon conference this past April, we had a speaker that was Eliza Garza. So she has a book that is about a little girl going to get ice cream with her grandfather. This book is doing very well, and she goes and does speaking engagements at schools. So mind you, she's getting paid to go into the school and speak about the book and the experience, and people buy the books. The next place she could potentially target are retirement communities. So she was going in the children's side because it's a relationship with a little girl and her grandfather. There's also the other side with the older generation that would be interested in the story and the speaking and then buy the book. And you can also pitch anything depending on the themes explored in your book. So if you're an author that focuses on female empowerment, you could consider reaching out to a women's wellness organization or Girl Scouts in the USA. Those groups might also be looking for a speaker. And remember, you did the research, you are an expert. Now, remember, some people are more comfortable behind the scenes. We know that, and that's okay. You can try selling course materials or doing freelance writing. You did the research, so you are the expert there. Use your writing skills to generate income there and stay true to what's in your comfort zone. So you don't have to go be the speaker. But with courses and workshops that you develop, you can help other people sharing your story and your expertise. You can also teach students about using story structures, if those are what you use, and writing the perfect plot and more. We also had another speaker at our BookMarcon conference, Parshel Tashi, who talks about creating workbooks, which was a super cool way to go about adding content. So many businesses and organizations are out there looking for skilled writers, and you are a writer. So freelance opportunities such as copywriting, editing, ghostwriting, that might be your safety net if you don't want to go out in front. So lots of places that you can do things. Last but not least, I want to talk about personal branding. Just like I always say in Book Brushland, authors are their own personal brand. You have something special about you. Don't tell me you don't. You all do. And so it's not just about selling your books. It's learning how to market and position yourself in a way that attracts readers and potential readers. You need to meet them where they're at, being on those different social platforms. People have their pet social platforms, so you want to do Instagram and Facebook, wherever they're at. Maybe TikTok and YouTube are your thing. Having that influence in the author space matters because it really enables you to shape your readers' preference and behaviors. Make yourself and your name recognizable. Think about your colors, think about your fonts, all those things that you're putting into your personal brand, the types of fun things that you post on social media, and make yourself relatable. Be consistent. You might be doing blogging. You might think podcasting is more your thing. Some really cool video content. When you put yourself out there, that is making you relatable to your readers. So the more you get into it, the more you increase your visibility, the more people see you. You can be everywhere. The right kind of hashtags can really help that too. So don't be afraid to connect with people to reach your target market and your goals. There is no shame in asking, and networking opens doors to new opportunities. Authors, I've always found, as we've been in this author space, I've been in the author space since 2018, and authors I've always found are really willing to help other authors. It is really remarkable in the author community. So try the networking. This conference is an excellent opportunity for things like that. All right, so let's wrap this up, shall we? The point of this keynote speech and kicking off this whole entire AuthorTube writing conference is that authors should find a way to incorporate their writing with other income streams. Being a starving artist should no longer be normalized. You wrote these amazing books, and gone are the days when everything needs to be made from scratch. Leverage all the tools and opportunities that are out there. Plenty of resources are here if you know what to look for. And if you don't know what to look for, remember, I'm a big Googler. You can try that. But as we go along with these sessions, I want people to remember the ABCs. I'm an alphabet soup kind of girl. So stay active, dare to be brave, and embrace your creativity. So active, brave, creative are your ABCs from the Book Brush family. And I'm super excited about the opportunities you guys have to learn and absorb and take in all kinds of things. I peeped just for tonight some of the things coming up. There's Brian Cohen's session, How to Love Launching Your Book. I love this. Let's show some love to your book launch. So that's going to be a good one. And then plenty more coming along. C.M. Lockhart, Fantasy World Building, Self-Pub with Andy, Ethical Espionage for Authors, Bree Bonomo, hopefully I'm saying it right, Breaking into the Industry with Short Fiction, Amelia Griggs, 7 Steps to Your Best-Selling Book, and Caitlin Duncan, Clear Space, Clear Mind, Embrace Your Writing Through Decluttering. So those are particular just sessions that are just still tonight, and lots more to come on Saturday and Sunday. In fact, I will be back tomorrow on Saturday with a session. And then there are also panels tonight for you all. Dale Roberts, always love me some Dale, has a panel on the future of self-publishing books on Amazon and beyond. And Nia James also has a panel on world building and story Bible help. And this is for everybody because it's plotters, pantsers, and plantsers. So thanks everyone for tuning in for this session, for the keynote. Again, I'm Kathleen Sweeney with Book Brush. I love being in the author space.